It had the
Font.
ECW one night stand vibe that when he came out against Rob Van Dam, and I was hoping he would have the hat down and just do his thing like he did when he came out. He had the belt for that one, the spinner belt, but I liked it. I liked everything that Cena has done, although it's never been explained. He's tried his damnedest to make it make some sort of sense. And I'll say right off the bat, like they were doing their dual chants at Cena and everything. But at the same time, I noticed when they were cutting the people and as the match went on, it's the same as Roman Reigns. Now they love Cena. Now Cody's staleness and the interest in Cena is apparent during this match.
We'll stick with the entrances. Motocross bikes for Cody Rhodes.
I didn't even know he was a big dirt bike guy. It was very strange. Unless here's the thing. What's the connection to TKO, Endeavor, UFC, Nick Khan? Is this some sort of Vegas act with the motocross bikes and they're featuring it there?
What they should have done was professional bull riding, because TKO has just brought on professional bull riders. So they should have had that. Just 30 seconds of a man being gored. Rhino should have been in.
What they should have done was have, you might as well just squeeze everything in. Have a mini octagon on the one part of the stage where people are doing UFC, and then the other part is the slap fight at the top. Just throw it all in. Get it all in. You should have Colby Covington like mounting guard on another UFC wrestler in the third row trying to get side control. Right? It's a mishmash of, this is NASCAR, and I still hate the mat. That mat is brutal with all the advertisements. It sucks.
Didn't have Prime on it in the middle this time, so I figured that deal's run out, but they still have the Prime hydration station for whatever reason. Anyway, the match itself. Let's just talk about the crowd reaction before we get to the match, because the crowd was doing all the work here. But you know what? Cody was being booed, and then John Cena was being booed. It's like everyone was getting booed, yet everyone really wanted to see the match. It was a very weird reaction. So I don't quite know what people wanted from it, live in the building.
The people just wanted to react, have a good time, boo both of them. They knew they were going to hijack this as far as they did. But I have to say, you have a complaint about this match, and especially the finish. And I guess the overarching theme of that complaint is the pacing and the gears.
That's not a complaint. That's maybe at the end it was, but at the beginning, I heard other people complaining. I liked the slow pace of it. I liked the Hogan Warrior make every move mean something kind of thing. And a lot of people are just conditioned just to have just explosions and whatever every 4 seconds.
Yeah, I agree with that. I misunderstood what you were saying, because for me, watching all the other stuff, it's good. It's like having candy with both triple threat matches and even the four-way where all this stuff's going on. I can digest the meal of this main event. I can digest it. And I love the fact they had the three-way match the night before for the main event. This was a drastically different presentation for another. So you had two independent main events that weren't glossing over each other in the same way. I like the fact, I think they should stick with, if you can make some sort of special multi-person match, stipulation match, cage match, night one, and then night two be your standard traditional. This was very much an NWA World Heavyweight title type of wrestling match to me. Very old school, very meaningful, and giving people an idea of how to digest the heel Cena character in a wrestling ring, actually wrestling, because this is literally the first time we're seeing this. So that's why I love the slow pace. We had to identify what John Cena is now and after this match. So definitely great job. But people will think it's boring because it's not. I'm not getting my heart rate up. I'm not doing this and that. No, they just watch the rest of the match. It'll get there, except for one spot you hated.
Super ADD. I think that's everyone's problem. But I like the slow. The thing is, they didn't need to do anything. Do you know why? Because the crowd were going crazy.
Yeah.
Why do you need to do anything else?
I go back to it. This was like, I always use this analogy because last time I saw Cena kind of be a heel was that one night stand against Rob. The fans were every bit as rabid And there was so many more of them in this stadium. But it reminds me of the atmosphere of Hammerstein Ballroom in a stadium. It was crazy.
Let's talk about Cena's appearance. I know he's not as tanned as he once was. I don't know if that's for filming reasons or what. I don't know if he's not as big as he once was. I know obviously he's pushing 50, but I don't know if he's slimming down also for certain roles. But he didn't come across as I mean, you know, he didn't come across as Super Cena, I guess, in that sense, which is, I mean, he can't be both things. I don't think he can serve both masters. But did you think he just looked a bit old? His hair had suspiciously filled in. I'd noticed that.
I wouldn't say old. And I don't pay attention, even though there is jokes going around. I still say Austin Theory should not have brought that up to Cena because he got eviscerated way back in that promo. It's more so what I said before. It's the opposite of the Rey Mysterio injury. Remember we said the tightrope. What's too little amount of wrestling before you're in a match like this, and what's too much leading into a match like this? Cena's literally, because of his schedule, he even voices over the Honda commercials. When we watch it, I was like, is that Cena? So he's all over, not just in Hollywood and, TV and all that stuff, but he has so many obligations. I don't even know if he's still doing Make-A-Wish. If he's still doing that, he's beyond busy. So when do you have time to get in the ring? And also with the other stuff that's wearing you down, you can get injured training for the match. And I noticed in the beginning, like with the shoulder block, he wanted to go to the outside, but he kind of waited for Cody, took a little Jim Duggan bump and rolled out, and then other bumps. But when his body got warmed up, he was starting to bump like Cena would as a full-time worker. That ring rust, man, and also ring rust, hitting 50, being on the road, still being on the road for another profession. You're memorizing scripts. You have to do all this different stuff. Now you have to wrestle a main event WrestleMania match, and it just wears you down. The other point was just a more simple wrestling point. Maybe his bump card is finally just about run out, and he doesn't know how much he has left. But, he warmed up. It was the Greg Valentine. He needs 15, 20 minutes to warm up. When he finally started to warm up and feel his way through the bumps and the ring and everything seemed fine.
Was there a specific turning point in the match where you thought he was easing into it, or did it just become apparent over the course of the match?
Well, it's a lot like working out. When his blood was flowing and he worked up a good sweat and he was breathing easy. In the beginning, it sort of looked like he was still, because John Cena can get nervous. I've never been a heel. What do? I don't wrestle a whole lot. Now, obviously, these thoughts need to be pushed out of the way, like before you get out there. But still, looking around, it is still a little unfamiliar because he hasn't been around for WrestleMania in a while. So I believe that he just needed to be reacclimated into all this, into the entire environment, and he did a great job.
Now, once again, WrestleMania, and it is the WrestleMania main event. I guess I can be, not that it matters, but they started doing the finisher kickouts quite early again, doing the attitude adjustments, so many of them. It still bugs me, even if it's a WrestleMania main event. Maybe like right at the end, it's one thing, but I think people are going to it too early in a match. If you're going to do it, I think people sort of go to that trope too early. Is that me?
Well, I agree with you, but I also agree that the business has changed. And ever since, I'll point out this, Goldberg versus Brock was that Survivor Series where Goldberg just had a flash win over Brock. That became something to dip in and out of creatively in these matches. Now, they didn't necessarily do that, but when they got started, we went into flash finishes type thing, but it turned into false finishes. Like, I'm going to try to beat him out of nowhere with the AA. I'm going to try to beat him out of nowhere with this. Cody's going to hit the crossroads, even to the effect of hitting each other's finishes in some of these main events.
Michael Cole at one point calls John Cena Gina. I just wrote that down because I really liked that as a little note. Travis Scott comes out, our favourite. I heard reports that when the music started playing, because I think it was the referee was down at that point, I think, and then the music started kicking in, Can I also? Is it just me? Was WrestleMania 41's music the worst WrestleMania music ever? Because like between Travis Scott and The Weeknd, they were two dirt awful songs. Travis Scott comes out, and apparently the crowd started cheering because obviously the music and the lights and everything like that. But when it was only Travis Scott there and not The Rock, people stopped caring very quickly.
I think the more mysterious thing about that is, where was The Rock? I think we can dedicate an entire segment to that.
He actually posted on Instagram or wherever he posted, "Oh, I'm in Hawaii." And everyone thought he was doing the Becky Lynch thing, or, the obvious thing of, "Oh, I won't be there because obviously I'm in Hawaii." But then apparently The Rock just stayed in Hawaii or wherever he did.
Wow. Yeah, they all tried the swerve of, "I won't be there because I'm already there." That kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's weird, dude, because I thought Rocky would definitely have come out. Like I said, he hadn't done any of those international TVs. He hadn't made an appearance. I'm saying if he's going to come and do anything in collecting souls or anything like that, it's going to be after the finish of this. And I'm sure even up until Cena walking up the ramp, they're like, is Rocky going to be there? So even if Rock said, "I'm in Hawaii," and you might think, well, that cost a lot of pay-per-view buys. People think they were being swerved, paid for it, and then didn't see him. How do you feel? Do you think people would ask for a refund if he wasn't there? He's been a big part.
They never said he would be there, so they'd never get anywhere. But someone might try it.
But you know what I'm saying? He's still a draw, even not wrestling. Well, he's going to be there. Something cool's going to happen. I don't know what happened. That's a weird, because you can't say he's in trouble with The Office or he's at odds with The Office, because he is The Office. He's on the chair. He's on the board. Like $30 million and $7 to be on the board of TKO.
But the thing is, like, Travis Scott is not the reason that John Cena turned bad guy. The Rock is. He instigated it all. So why, after Elimination Chamber, has he been completely AWOL since? I don't get it. What's he doing? He didn't even film anything on his phone to send in.
That is the biggest question going in and out of WrestleMania, is where's this guy been and why wasn't he there? Well, we got Travis Scott. So you can name me 3 Travis Scott songs, because I couldn't name you one.
If that one that goes, he, that went all the way through WrestleMania 41 for 2 nights. Travis Scott walks down. Nobody reacted to him because obviously they thought The Rock was coming. Yeah. People reacted to him initially, and then they thought The Rock was coming.
He got your favorite belt too, the new WWE Hardcore belt.
Oh, goodness me. That's disgraceful. Anyway, one thing we have found out is that Travis Scott takes a better crossroads than John Cena.
Isn't that something? Are we going to do the what went right for that?
Yeah, you might as well do it now.
Let's do it. And by the way, Travis Scott takes a better crossroads than I would too. So nothing different there. We one of our most popular, for whatever reason, Travis Scott, or one of our most popular videos in general, is the Travis Scott video in a negative sense. So we should get just as much polarizing opinions on this. But this is better than most of the workers take it, although I will walk through it. I will break it down step by step. It wasn't the tightest. It wasn't technically in the beginning the best crossroads, but he took a really good one. So Travis tries to slap him. Cody does the interlace.
He really does try and slap him as well.
What's that?
He really does try and slap him as well. You've seen how much of a swing he had.
Yeah, he swung through. So this is him right here. Now this is where it was. I want to say this. For people that are saying, well, he didn't get into it real clean. I'm going to tell you right now, if you're not used to it and not so flexible, Travis Scott has never cooperated with a move before. He might have rehearsed this. You got to pretty much arch your body back while your feet are flat. So you're here and your body's here, kind of like this, in that shape. So obviously, Cody might have told him, but he forgot right here. See all the space right there? That space right there, Cody should front face lock him a little tighter. That's where I think it could go wrong. But watch Travis Scott. This arm around here, this arm, even cupping the elbow in the back of the tricep. So he's already doing, I see guys just hanging there. You got to tighten up, hold your core in, and resist Cody so he can turn you for the crossroads. He did a great job with that. See right here? It's very loose. This is what scared me. He should literally be in Cody's armpit right there. So whatever happened, it turned out really well. That's about it, the best crossroads you can take right there. He spun over. He put the one hand down to brace him, and he took a flat bump. Look, Cody protected him, but he also, dude, look, he ate it. He took it like a champ. It does.
His hands bent back as well. Have you seen that on that frame pause?
Definitely. No, that's Cody's hand. His hand's right there behind Watch on Demand. But
because John Cena took the crossroads, I think, and a lot of people who take it wrong basically land on Cody's chest, so they don't get over enough.
Yeah, but he landed on his chest too. You got to think about it too. Travis Scott weighs about $150, so he can clear Cody this way very easily. But this is maybe he had a spine infection. Who knows? But just this, watch this. Just for Travis Scott to do that motion, looking up, backwards, feet flat, body kind of flexed with isometrics, and turn himself. He could have very easily just landed on top of Cody's head and not offered any assistance whatsoever. This is one of the best crossroads, not only for a non-wrestling talent, but it's top 50% of wrestling talents taking it. No talent, I'm going to tell you right now, no talent I know outside of maybe Bubba Ray Dudley and other people can consistently take a great face bump or face, chest, stomach bump. I can't do it. And when you're talking about looking up, turning, and Cody's got to plant you into there and you're just flying and you're not familiar with it, that's a big deal. So I give Travis Scott credit. Maybe they lucked out. Maybe this was the good take. Or maybe he really put something into it to make sure. Maybe he was at WrestleMania all week, maybe a couple days rehearsing with Cody. So,
well, they say he was training to be a wrestler before this.
Before he became a singer?
Well, no, I mean after that.
Oh, you mean when TKO
took for a short while.
When TKO took over, he was one of those people like Logan Paul that wanted to get into the business. So he started training to try to get crossover like that.
I don't know. I don't know if they did the crossover appearances first and then he started training. I don't know what it is, but apparently he's had a tiny bit of training anyway. But I don't know. He'd have to be in the minis division. Needs to bring that back.
But I think he did a great job with it, and it's what went right. It really is. And the whole match in itself, even though you feel like some pacing towards the end was really slow, this match was what went right too.
Let's just stick with Travis Scott then. Did WWE, that's the thing that I'm really wondering here, did WWE think that Travis Scott was more popular or more integral to this overarching storyline than he actually was? Because once again, the Crossroads was good, it looked good and everything, but when he walked down to the ring without The Rock, it was painfully obvious that there's some sort of miscommunication there, or some sort of misguided idea that somehow Travis Scott was more important to this than The Rock was. Or not, maybe not that, but he would be an adequate substitute, which he isn't. How could he be?
I don't have the answer to that. I don't know why, unless somebody just likes Travis Scott music. Travis Scott is Travis Scott signed to, what is it, CAA? That's what Ari Emanuel used to run, that agency for actors, for musicians, for singers. They're tied into that. So Ari Emanuel used to be an agent for many of the stars that we're seeing here.
Let's talk about the end of the match then. So I don't know if it was me, but it just seemed to slow to a glacial pace at the end. And then there was like a logic break for me that John Cena brought the belt in after the referee was downed. I don't know if it was the first or second time. Chad Patton. And he brings the belt in, and then Cody gets the belt off him. And then there's like a minute of Cena sort of like begging off, and then Cody wondering whether he should hit them with the belt, the moral quandary. And it's almost like Will Ospreay Should he do the Tiger Driver 91 or should he not do the Tiger Driver 91? And then one time he just wouldn't, and it was a moral quandary. And then the next time it was no problem at all, and he just did it. Why is Cody having a moral quandary over this? Because you even say himself, he's a heel. Cena's wronged him. What's the problem?
I don't get the problem at this point, especially with the Cena turn, you know, kicking him. He kicked him at the end of this as well, before winning from the belt shot. I don't know. I don't know why this makes Cody look incredibly weak and incredibly naive. Like, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. You know, it's got to be shame on Cody, right? So this is what I say. Like, this here did a lot of good, but where does Cody go? Cena, we know where Cena goes from here because you got to finish the story at the end of the year. I still believe the finish of this too. Cena's going to be a babyface again sooner rather than later. If Rock ever shows up to interact with Cena, what if Rock never shows up again? This thing is dead in the water. So now you got Cody getting back to him. You really got to take care of this guy. He just had a run as champion. He represented the company very well. And that could be enough for Cody to want to turn heel. But then we have, then we got Cena turn heel. Rollins just turned. Now Cody's we're going to have a reverse elimination chamber from ECW December to Dismember with too many heels.
Cena becomes the 17-time world champion, breaking Ric Flair's record, which isn't actually 16, it's 23, but in WWE canon, he breaks the record. Or did they not really make that big of a deal about John Cena winning? It was sort of, he won, there were no fireworks, they mentioned it briefly, and then it's off the air. It didn't seem like it. I don't think they were rushing either, because night 2 was actually shorter than night 1. So what do you think of the sort of the closing moments?
It's part of Cena's lack of presentation and lack of excitement in that dark entrance. I liked it. You have to interpret it, but Cena wins the title. And remember when he cut the promo? No new music, no new T-shirts, it's not the new me or anything like that. As a matter of fact, it's going to be subverted and it's going to be toned down. That's a heel. I think Cena's very much an old school wrestling fan. That's an old school thing. As a matter of fact, Cena for a bit probably was saying, I don't want to come out to music at all. That would be take every bit of the air out of the building as a heel. That's what WWE does so well, that you're looking saying, why there's no pyro? Why no big on the stage pyro outside and inside the stadium? Because he's a heel. He's not celebrating this with the fans. Put the belt on, walk out. I'm going to celebrate with myself. That's what I got out of it. Does that make sense now?
Yeah. He celebrated with Travis Scott as well. One last thing, and then we'll shut down the show. Should John Cena have done the turn at WrestleMania instead of Elimination Chamber, as was apparently the original creative?
Wow. So you're saying, like, match starts between, this is what I see, match starts between Cody and Cena, wrestle around a little bit, maybe they give him a little bit of the babyface, so you're not going home right away. Then he just kicks him right in the nuts, hits him with the belt and pins him. Like, it just flash finish a little bit. You give him a little bit of the wrestling. I do it right off the bat, but people might not like that. Like, the shake hands, kicking the nuts, pick him up, hit him with the finish, 1, 2, 3. That would get people talking. That is an interesting question. Wow. What would that look like? Because I guarantee you, I guarantee you after WrestleMania, even more places would pick up John Cena heel turn, title win. Now we're off to the races with Cody's reaction. And we don't get Travis Scott.
Let's assume everything's the same, but you still get a 20-25 minute match between Cody and John Cena, but then the whole shebang happens with The Rock coming out and Travis Scott coming out and John Cena, etc. Let's say you work it into the match.
Let me ask you this. I'm thinking of a third option. What about if, as the people, Cena's white meat babyface going into WrestleMania, cheering on, doing all that stuff, They do the dual chants, doesn't bother him when he comes out. They do the dual chants, or the chants turn into anti-Cena chants mostly. He starts to sell it a little bit and a little bit more. You start to see the cracks come through, the frustration, and Cody's out wrestling him. Then Cena shines on Cody, no heat spot, doesn't cheat, just gets over on him. They start booing. Then Cena starts to get a little more aggressive, but not in a heel sense. Then towards the end, the choice comes up, and Cena looks like he's not going to take it, turns to Cody, and then takes the choice, takes selling his soul to Rocky and wins the title. You're kind of teasing it, but the teasing it is not telegraphing it, because you're like, there's no way Cena's going to turn heel. That's that. I wish it worked out with him turning at WrestleMania. Now that I think about it, it would be awesome.
Oh, we didn't do Guerrillas, by the way. John Cena and Cody Rhodes.
5. Man, it would have been beyond a 5 if the alternate way to book it would have happened that we just talked about. My God.